Today is August 14th at the Bishop's for a bi-weekly maintenance, and it's going to be a nice thorough video last time I'm here. So the rock wall is really starting to come in with whatever we've left to grow. There are definitely some strange gaps that keep appearing and we keep filling up. Lots of little pica and such. But keeping the bottom free of those tiny weeds. We usually get a lot of those mini ones with some morning glory. And then removing the dead. We cut back and remove the dead, and it just looks much more alive and clean. We did the same thing on this left side over here. So just starting with the stuff that looks dead and removing it, cutting it back, gives it a better appearance. Now the top layer of this rock wall was fluffed, but we don't fluff in between. We don't want things to erode, but it's really sharp and clean, fresh soil. Some things are growing, but the grasses didn't do too hot this year. Yeah, these orange globe flowers are doing great though. And then up here by the front, this exposed wire does not really move. Just something to note, it's kind of unfortunately there. This got all cleaned up. Things are looking pretty good here. It did rain, and it rained again today. So last night and today. These beautiful wild mounding geraniums could be split this fall. They're massive. So that would be really nice for this area to kind of beef it up. Once again, the grasses aren't doing too hot all around. And then we fluffed this lower layer and did fluffing on the top layer, but not really in between the rocks, just to keep it settled. Whew. Now up here, we have some grass growing. We keep the columbine in check, so I deadheaded the columbine today, this whole area. And then yeah, the grasses did not make it up there. Those columbine back there are still flowering, but could be deadheaded next time, the ones that are by the fence. And the irises are doing nicely. The dogwood is making a comeback. And we keep our eye on tree sprouts up there too. A lot of aspen sprouts pop by. This is the entry point for the top, where all these geranium were deadheaded as well. And then fluffed up there. And then the circle, poor circle, we just keep it neat and tidy, and we leaf blow around the edge. It doesn't get any sunlight, so nothing really grows, nor does it get any water. We have a black-eyed sambuca, and then there's another one over here that's very small, so that suffered some damage this winter. Just let that grow nice and big. There's another grass, and a mixture of plants growing over here, but we deadheaded the geraniums that were within it, and then really cleaning up. So going in and getting the dead pieces off of each plant was essential, and then the rest just letting it grow. We have a little bit of lavender, but the lavender is really not doing too hot here. That one's the only one that's flowering, so nice and raked up. Good variety. We have one royal candle that survived. Now for the wildflower field. It's starting to look like a wildflower field finally. But we got the morning glory and thistle out of it, being really nice and thorough, and then fluffing through, picking up any pieces of debris. It's really starting to come along with these yellow tall ones and these little baby purple ones that are just scattered all around. So being sure to weed the pathway itself, because morning glory pops up there. We also noticed this is fallen. Looks very uneven. I do not think that's on purpose, because you can see that little strip up there where it maybe used to be, and it's also slanted to the right. Something they should note is that their chairlift seems to be slanted. Something structural going on. But also weeding out this left area, keeping these stones clear because they look nice. So we don't want plants growing in between them, but they can go along the edge. Looks not too bad. This beautiful cluster of asters over here is so nice. And then keeping the weeds out from underneath those pine trees just makes it cleaner. But that's the wildflower field today. And then to the right, cleaning up these geraniums, fluffing through about to the tree line area right there. And we plugged up the holes, so many holes. Really filled them in so you can't quite tell anymore. There used to be one right there. And then this is another view from above. Much cleaner. There's a lot of dead rodents and birds we've been burying in the fields nearby. No, over here did fluff and clean up the top. Oop, there's a... Oh, we got one of these. Okay, so fluffing through the steps. The jenny's starting to grow. The grasses are nice, little blue ones. We have at least, something going on. Might be the best this has ever looked. On the left side, cut back a lot of wild, dead stuff. It just wasn't serving a purpose. And I like this ground cover. If that can keep spreading, that would be good. But the nicely fluffed soil always looks good. And then this whole area got cleaned up. It's important to do debris removal for all their surfaces here, including this little area, and then big time fluffing this one. These little grass pieces. The penstemon, the jenny, which hasn't really thrived yet, and then the ferns did not make it over here, but some other things are still growing. And the lamium really takes off. I mean, we could plant more lamium over here and it would really thrive. This part does seem a little bit more dry than the other half. It'd be nice to maybe get some irrigation over here if they have it, which I can't remember if there's any irrigation at all. Probably not. But I think the lamium thrives. Should do more of that. The Scotch moss is maybe not as bad as it looked last time. Still doing good up here, just in that lower level, not so hot, but keeping the debris out, weeds out, and fluffing it makes it look fresh like a proper garden. And back here around the hosta, pretty minimal intervention because of the erosion right in this section. I know we tried to grow some things. I think the penstemon are doing fine. You could just make it a wall of penstemon, if that's what's doing well and what stays in there. Because I know we didn't have a good retention rate for this area. This whole property is an experiment anyway in what will grow without irrigation. But so far so good, I'd say, for what we've planted. We clean up the edges of the pathway every time. Super clean, phenomenal. This little area gets tended to with the lamium, and we might have to cut those back next time when they're not flowering, but for now it looks good. It looks nice and full. And then these geraniums are going to need some attention next time as well. This whole little corner of wilderness wildflowers. The left side we're really maintaining nicely, keeping it curated. And on the right side we do have some of the Ajuga, I believe it's called, growing. They are so tiny though. I think they did not do so hot this year, but at least the wild edge looks good up close. And then on the left, yeah, getting rid of any dead really helps liven up the space and keeping the plants within the boundary of the steps here. Looks good. Just lots of leaf pickup. So we're in late summer and things do start to fall in some trees like sycamores. So we'll just get a head start before the big fall. This area can be really messy, so it's nice to clean up all the leaves, and especially behind their equipment and stuff like that. Just getting all those paved surfaces, including this outskirt section right here by the driveway, keeping this clean of leaves makes a difference. This is all like wild rose growing along the edge too, kind of cool. some trees, a little bit of erosion here, and then we're back to the beautiful front, which, I don't know, maybe doing some more sedum would be nice. Some very hardy full sun ground cover here would be better than what we've been trying, but pops of color are doing a lot of justice for the space. And I believe that's a nice walkthrough of our biweekly maintenance. Thank you very much.